Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Are you one of the many people who got themselves an American Express card because you heard that they were all the rave, you hit the welcome offer, and you've been using the card for a little bit of time and have amassed over 100,000 membership reward points, but now you're at this spot where you're asking yourself, well, how do I redeem these points? People love American Express membership reward points because they are super easy to earn. You see your points balance rising up like a high score in a video game, but although you can end up earning all of these points fast, they also are the most difficult to redeem compared to any other bank program for good value. What I'm going to do in this video is go over a few different ways to redeem your membership reward points. I'm going to start off with beginner level ways to get yourself good value, and then go over to medium level ways to get yourself even better value, and then go over advanced level ways to get yourself great value for your points. The reality with American Express is that most of the ways that they allow you to redeem your membership reward points are absolutely terrible. If you want to redeem for a statement credit, which is what most people end up doing with their membership reward points, you're going to be getting yourself 0.6 cents per point in value. So if you do happen to have the American Express Platinum card, you get 5x back on flights, or you have the Gold card where you get 4x back on dining or 4x back on groceries, or if you happen to have the Green card where you get yourself 3x back on travel, if you decide to redeem it for a statement credit, you might as well just cut all those values in half for the type of value you're actually going to be getting from it, because you're not going to be getting yourself the base level that most banks end up offering, which ends up being 1 cent per point. You'd be better off getting a card that gives you 3x back in those same categories that allows you to cash out your points at 1 cent per point. So unless you're in an absolutely dire situation, do not redeem your membership reward points for a statement credit. Also, when you link your American Express card to Amazon, it's probably going to end up asking you if you want to use your membership reward points to make that Amazon purchase. Don't do this as well. The rule of thumb with American Express is that if it's a super easy way to redeem your points, then you probably should end up redeeming your points that way. If you decide to redeem your American Express points with Amazon, Amazon will win, American Express will win, but you will end up losing. Also, don't get gift cards. There used to be a time many years ago where if you had a card like the Discover It card and you wanted to redeem your cash back for a gift card, you'd have to redeem only $45 to get yourself like a $50 gift card. But nowadays, for some weird reason, they have it that if you want to redeem, say, your points for a gift card, we have to redeem more points than what the gift card is worth. So instead of getting additional value with purchasing a Chipotle gift card, you actually are overpaying for this Chipotle gift card. If you want to cash out your American Express membership reward points, then you're going to want to get yourself the Charles Schwab card. Because with the Charles Schwab card, you can cash out your membership reward points into your Charles Schwab brokerage account at 1.1 cent per point. It's pretty annoying that American Express makes you have to get the Charles Schwab card to be able to cash out your membership reward points at 1.1 cents per point. But as I said, American Express does not make it easy. If it ends up being easy, you're going to get yourself poor value for your points. So if you have 100,000 membership reward points and you apply and get approved for the American Express Platinum Charles Schwab card, then you could transfer over those 100,000 membership reward points over to your Charles Schwab brokerage account and turn that 100,000 points into $1,100. Now, this isn't the way that I would recommend redeeming your membership reward points, but if you have no other plans to use your membership reward points, then it's better to do this because your points aren't going to be gaining interest in your American Express account. So why not have it in an investment account where you can't end up gaining yourself value from having it in there? So what if you don't want to cash the points out, and you decide that you want to use these points to get yourself outsized value with travel? Well, the way to be able to do this is to take advantage of the transfer partners that are connected with American Express. In the same spot where it shows you the different options to redeem your points, you should see the choice to be able to transfer to partners. Now, American Express has many different partners. It can end up being pretty overwhelming when you end up seeing the list because you're probably going to end up seeing a lot of different airlines that you may have never even heard of before. But a very easy program that I would recommend transferring over your membership reward points to would end up being the Hilton Honors program. Now, you don't just want to transfer your points over to Hilton Honors anytime. You want to wait specifically for when there is a transfer bonus. Now, there's probably going to be some more advanced people either telling you or writing in the comment section that you shouldn't transfer your membership reward points over to Hilton because you can end up getting yourself way more value if you end up doing it with certain airline partner programs. And I completely agree with you there. But for someone who's looking to get themselves just better than 1 cent per point in value, transferring over your membership reward points to Hilton during a transfer bonus and redeem those points for a Hilton stay, while you may not end up getting yourself the greatest of value, you can still end up getting yourself pretty good value and have yourself a nice trip. Say you transfer over 100,000 membership reward points to Hilton during the last transfer bonus. That would have turned your 100,000 membership reward points into 260,000 Hilton Honors points. Now, with 260,000 Hilton Honors points, you should be able to get yourself at the very least $1,300 in value with Hilton stays. But even with just a little bit of effort, you should be able to get yourself even more value than that. If you happen to have a Hilton card or any Hilton status, you get a benefit of getting the 5th night for free when you are redeeming points for a stay. So if you happen to have 260,000 points, that means that you could be able to stay at a property of a max of 65,000 points per night to be able to get yourself a 5-night stay there. Now, 65,000 points will probably be able to get you at a property that would cost close to about $400 a night. $400 over 5 nights comes up to being $2,000 in value, which would mean that those 100,000 membership reward points that you transferred over got you $2,000 in value, which gives you that sought out 2 cents per point that everyone talks about in the points and miles world. So although Hilton isn't the greatest transfer partner of American Express, if you are strategic with transferring over your membership reward points to Hilton during a transfer bonus, then you can get yourself what most would consider to be decent value for your membership reward points. The next way to redeem your membership reward points is going to have a few slightly more advanced components to it, but still very manageable if you are willing to put in just a little bit of work. This ends up being to transfer over your membership reward points to foreign airlines to have yourself a trip over to Europe. The reason why I recommend to transfer over your points to one of the international carriers is because when you end up looking at the cost for an international flight as compared to a domestic flight, it ends up being a lot more expensive on average to fly internationally versus domestically. So if you redeem your points for international travel, there's a way higher likelihood of getting yourself outsized value as compared to domestic travel. A flight from Dallas to Los Angeles, depending on what time of year you go, can end up costing between 40 to 50,000 Delta Sky miles round trip. But if you end up looking for a flight from Dallas to, say, Paris, it can end up being as low as 30 to 40,000 Flying Blue miles round trip. The ticket cost to fly over to Paris from Dallas is usually much more expensive as compared to flying over to Los Angeles. However, in some instances, it can end up requiring less points than to fly over to Los Angeles. And for that reason, this is why most people recommend to redeem your points for international flights as compared to domestic flights, because you can get yourself way more value with international flights as compared to domestic ones. This isn't to say that you can't redeem your points for domestic travel, but if you happen to have a domestic travel planned and also international travel planned, and you only have enough points to be able to redeem for one of these type of trips, then it would make more sense to do it typically for the international one as compared to the domestic one, just because of how much more cost that flight would end up being. But you should always compare the fare cost and the amount of points that are going to be required to make this redemption, because in some instances, you can end up getting yourself some pretty cheap international flights. The program that I'd recommend to transfer over your membership reward points to get yourself a round trip over to Europe would end up being Virgin Atlantic. Virgin Atlantic has super cheap economy flights going for only 6,000 points each way. You didn't mishear me, 6,000 points each way, so 12,000 membership reward points round trip transferred over to your Virgin Atlantic account. Now the taxes and fees to get there are about $80, and then coming back from England end up being closer to like $300, which is on the more expensive side, but even still, this is a stupid cheap flight to get over to Europe. Now the way you transfer over your membership reward points to Virgin Atlantic is the same way you would transfer over your membership reward points over to Hilton. The difference with transferring over your membership reward points to an airline as compared to a hotel program is that it usually ends up being a lot more challenging to find the saver lowest price with airlines as compared to hotel programs. So while there may end up being flights that go for as low as 6,000 points each way, not every single day is going to have that low saver price. So you want to wait until you see the low saver price before you decide to transfer over any of your membership reward points to your Virgin Atlantic account. And if you want to travel in a higher level of comfort, Virgin Atlantic also offers very cheap premium economy and business class flights. I've seen business class for as low as 29,000 Virgin Atlantic miles. The taxes and fees do increase when you are getting these premium seats, but it still ends up being a stupid cheap deal to get over to Europe. Now, finding Save Reward availability for business class is a lot more challenging than it is to find for, say, premium economy or economy. It isn't impossible, but it is going to take more to find the award availability at this low cost. I do have videos on this channel going over how to find award availability, so check out those videos if you want to figure out how you can find the cheapest costs. But say you don't want to travel over to England and you prefer to go over to Paris or Amsterdam. Well, you could transfer over your membership reward points to your Flying Blue account, and Flying Blue has 2 different airlines that are part of their program. These are going to be Air France and KLM. And they offer a award space for as low as 15,000 Flying Blue miles to get yourself an economy flight to either Paris or Amsterdam. And I've even seen it lower when it ends up being some special deals. And if you want to fly to either one of these destinations in business class, Air France and KLM both charge 50,000 points for a business class flight each way. So with 100,000 membership reward points, you have the ability to get yourself multiple economy class flights round trip over to Europe, or you can end up doing one round trip in style if you prefer to do it that way. The cost of an economy flight round trip over to Europe usually ranges between $700 all the way up to $1,600, whereas the cost of a business class flight round trip over to Europe typically ranges between $4,500 all the way up to $10,000. This all depends on what time of year you're traveling and also which airline you're flying with, but as you can see, you can get yourself way more value transferring over your membership reward points to one of these international carriers as compared to transferring them to, say, your Hilton Honors account or getting yourself the Charles Schwab card and then just cashing it out into your brokerage account. And just like I recommended with Hilton to wait for a transfer bonus, you can end up doing the same thing with either Virgin Atlantic or Flying Blue. Now with Hilton, I feel like it's necessary to actually do it to get yourself decent value for your points, whereas with Flying Blue and Virgin Atlantic, I just think that it sweetens the deal. And lastly, we're gonna look at the most advanced way to redeem your membership reward points for travel. So you are still gonna be transferring over your membership reward points to one of the different partner airlines, but instead of using that partner airline's miles to be able to redeem for a flight on their aircraft, you're instead gonna be redeeming their miles to fly on one of the partner airlines' aircrafts. Most of you are probably already aware of this, but for those who aren't, if you happen to have miles with one program, it doesn't mean you have to redeem the miles to fly on their aircraft. If they happen to be a part of an alliance or have a partnership with another airline, you can redeem the miles with the first airline with one of the alliance airlines or partner airlines if they happen to release award availability. This is usually where you're gonna find the best deals in the world of points and miles. And you can grab onto those 100,000 membership reward points, and instead of flying internationally in business class, you can upgrade yourself to going internationally in first class. Say you happen to get yourself a cheap Virgin Atlantic flight for only 6,000 miles over to London, and then you decide to take the train over to Paris and then explore many different cities throughout Europe. Once you decide it's time to come home, you get yourself over to Germany and fly on first class with Lufthansa for only 90,000 Aeroplan miles. Aeroplan and Lufthansa are both part of Star Alliance, so because of this, when Lufthansa releases first class award availability, you can redeem Aeroplan miles to be able to get yourself the cheapest award cost for this first class flight. I've been fortunate enough to fly on Lufthansa first class. And if you happen to be flying out of Frankfurt, they will chauffeur you to your plane in a Mercedes. And once you are sitting in your spacious first class seat, they will offer you unlimited Johnny Walker Blue, as well as caviar, and you also have a delicate rose in the corner of your seat. Or say you want to fly over to Asia in luxury, one of the holy grails in the points and miles world is going to be to fly on ANA in first class, redeeming Virgin Atlantic miles. This can be booked from the mainland of the US for as low as 72,500 Virgin Atlantic miles. In the new suites, you'll get yourself a massive high definition screen, a sliding door, unlimited Krug champagne, and also Hibiki 17, which is the whiskey that Bill Murray drank in Lost in Translation that goes for over $1,000 a bottle. A round-trip first-class flight with ANA retails for close to $25,000. If you time out a transfer bonus with American Express over to Virgin Atlantic, you could be able to book this round trip for a little over 100,000 membership reward points. Now for most people, business class is enough. But if you want to be an absolute baller, the ANA suites are waiting for you. But there you have it. Those are ways you can redeem 100,000 membership reward points. Don't let those points just sit around in your account. Redeem those points to have yourself an awesome adventure. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you happen to have any questions, drop it down in the comment section down below. I'll do the best I can to answer it. If you haven't been interested in any cards, check out my links in the description box down below to learn more. If you do decide to use any of my links, they do really help out the channel, and I'll be incredibly thankful for your support. And if you happen to really like this video, do me a favor. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this video, and have a beautiful rest of your day.